So now we come to the next session, which is a panel discussion on future of AI and consumer protection. So I would like to invite our panelists onto the stage, please. Mr. Vinod Armugam, Mr. Indrajit Sirkar, Mr. Dileepan Chakravarti, Mr. Karthik Jayakumar, Dr. Jagannathan, and we have Mr. Abhinav Narula joining us online. So let me first briefly introduce all the panelists. So, as I told you earlier, we actually எங்களுடைய understandingல we thought we bring in experts from various areas. So that அந்த டிஸ்கஷனில் we will be able to understand ஒரு மேனுஃபேக்சரிங் சைட்லேருந்து, ஒரு இ-காமர்ஸ் பிளாட்ஃபார்ம்லேருந்து, ஒரு லாயர், அதுக்கப்புறம் லைக் அட்வர்டைஸிங்லேருந்து, பிகாஸ் அட்வர்டைஸிங் பிளேஸ் அ மேஜர் ரோல். ஆர்டிஃபிஷியல் இன்டெலிஜென்ஸ் அட்வர்டைஸிங்கில் இட் பிளேஸ் அ மேஜர் ரோல். ஹவு இட் இன்ஃப்ளூயன்சஸ் கன்சியூமர்ஸ் அப்படின்னு பார்க்கும்போது we thought we should have someone and who other than the advertising. So we thought it will be good to have the Advertising Standards Council of India. So we approached them as well. And so everyone were kind enough to actually accept our invitation and join us today. And of course, civil society representation, and we were happy when Mr. Vinod Armugam readily agreed. As I told you earlier during the welcome address, he prefers to call himself as a cyber activist. So we are happy to have him also with us. So let me briefly introduce all the speakers before we go into the session. So Mr. Vinod Armugam is a renowned author and cyber safety advocate dedicated to creating a safer digital environment for individuals and communities. With a passion for empowering others, Vinod has written insightful books and contributed articles to newspapers, shedding light on the importance of cyber safety and the impact of AI on our daily lives. Recognizing the need for education in this rapidly evolving digital landscape, Vinod has developed comprehensive courses on cyber safety, equipping individuals with the knowledge and skills to navigate the online world securely. His courses have empowered countless individuals to protect themselves and their digital assets. In addition to his work in cyber safety, Vinod is deeply committed to uplifting underprivileged children by providing them with access to digital technology. He believes that by upskilling downtrodden kids, they can overcome barriers and seize opportunities in the digital realm, paving the way for a brighter future. Vinod Armugam's dedication to cyber safety, AI, and bridging the digital divide showcases his unwavering commitment to fostering a safer, more inclusive digital society. Through his advocacy, writings, and educational initiatives, Vinod continues to make a profound impact on the lives of individuals and communities alike. He has written a few books. Books titled Digital Mafia, Digital Bodai, Cryptocurrency, and Darknet. So thank you for joining us today, sir. Welcome. So next, we have Mr. Indrajit Sirkar. So he is a public policy manager at Amazon, where he leads engagement with policymakers on issues affecting e-commerce, cross-border trade, and digital marketplace operations in India. With close to 14 years of experience in technology, policy, and regulatory affairs, Indrajit has worked across law firms, think tanks, and industry associations, developing expertise in consumer protection frameworks, platform accountability, and digital economy regulation. Indrajit holds a BA LLB from the National University of Judicial Sciences, Kolkata, and a Master's in Public Affairs from Sciences Po, Paris. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Indrajit. So next we have Mr. Dileepan Chakravarti. Sir is from Apollo Tyres. He has over 24 years of experience in manufacturing IT. Currently working as an MES product owner and data engineering for AI initiative in the Apollo Tyres industry, managing solutions across multiple plants. His expertise is in MES implementation and integration with SAP. supporting high volume production environments. He also specializes in AWS based IoT data streaming, handling large scale industrial data from systems for AI projects. His focus is on connecting shop floor systems with enterprise platforms to enable real time visibility and data driven manufacturing. Thank you for joining us. இன்னும் பெருசாக தட்டலாமே. Yeah, thank you. So next we have Mr. Karthik Jayakumar. He's a lawyer. He's a co-founding partner at Peritam Partners, a corporate law firm based in Chennai, India, specializing in mergers and acquisitions, private equity and venture capital. His practice areas include general corporate matters and funding activities in the startup and emerging company space, where he has represented multiple promoters, investors, and acquirers across jurisdictions in their investments and acquisitions. After gaining foundational experience at firms like Amarchand and Mangaldas, HSB Partners, Karthik co-founded Peritam Partners, driven by a vision to support the growing corporate ecosystem in Chennai. He graduated from the School of Excellence in Law and co-founded A38 Journal, an online publication focused on international law and legal consultancy. Passionate about continuous learning and technological integration, Karthik has positioned himself at the forefront of corporate law, adapting to evolving digital trends and recognizing the growing impact of digital transactions and AI on legal practices. He is qualified to practice in India as a member of the Bar Council of Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry, and regularly advises startups and multiple multinational corporations and large Indian corporate houses. Thank you for joining us, Karthik. Thank you. So we have Mr. Abhinav Narula, who has joined us online. Mr. Abhinav is an active member of the Advertising Standards Council of India Consumer Complaints Council. He heads marketing at Make My Trip, leading strategy and execution across brand, digital, mobile, customer lifecycle management and performance marketing. Previously, he was director marketing for brand Go Ibebo in a similar role, and also led analytics and strategy for both Make My Trip and Go Ibebo, driving data-backed decisions. He began his journey at Make My Trip in 2016, following a successful stint in the telecom industry at Vodafone, where he last worked as head of data, VAS and SMS for Punjab Circle. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Abhinav Narula. The earlier speakers had explained in detail about artificial intelligence, its advantages and also the concerns around it. ஸோ நம்மளுக்கு எல்லாருக்குமே தெரியும் இன்றைக்கி லைஃப்பில் நம்மளோட அன்றாட வாழ்க்கையில் ஹவு பிக் ரோல் ஏஐ பிளேஸ் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு அது இட்ஸ் நாட் அ கான்செப்ட் எனிமோர், எங்கேயோ இருக்கிற ஒரு டிஸ்டன்ட் கான்செப்ட் இல்லை, பட் நம்மளோட லைஃப்பில் பிணைந்திருக்கிற ஒரு விஷயம் இல்லையா. ஸோ ஃப்ரம் ஹவு வி ஷாப், கம்யூனிகேட், access financial services, and even how we are influenced by advertisements. So இது எல்லாமே AI is shaping our consumer, our experience as consumer, and many a time it is invisible also. நம்மளுக்கு என்ன நடக்குதுன்னே தெரியாமையே நடக்கிறது ஆக்சுவலாக. So when AI brings immense opportunities for convenience, there are also concerns, as was discussed earlier, about transparency, fairness, privacy and accountability. So this makes it crucial to ask, are our current systems, technological, legal and institutional, equipped to protect consumers in this evolving landscape? This is a question. So to help us unpack these questions, we have a distinguished panel here representing diverse perspectives from industry, regulation, law, civil society and academia. So now we move on to the panelists, and the first I would like to begin with our first panelist, Mr. Vinod. Civil society oda voice first varnu nanikiren. So I would like to so what I thought was we will go with the first one round of questions for each of the panelists, and if we have time we'll go with another question as well. Yeah. So Mr. Vinod, what are the most pressing risks for consumers from artificial intelligence in everyday digital services?
Hello. So one another name for me is Cyber Buddha. That's how I want to be called. So I will be talking in mixed English and Tamil
Please
for
do,
your
sir.
convenience and
So
for
we
my
have, I
convenience.
must tell you, we have a couple of panelists who don't understand Tamil.
Okay.
One person who has joined us online, Mr. Abhinav
Yes.
Narula, and of course Indrajit, who is sitting next to you. He is from Delhi, and but please, you are welcome to, because it will be good for if it is bilingual, which is why we have been doing that. I apologize to Mr. Mr.
No, even
Indrajit.
I too, because so to address your question, one thing I want to talk about is well, one thing basically I want to ask everyone is, everyone will be using Facebook or ChatGPT, the AI or the Instagram, everything is integrated. If you are using Facebook, nothing like you are moving away from it. How many of you here really think like, hey, I thought about buying this shoe, or I thought about buying this phone, and immediately I'm seeing the ad in my WhatsApp?
Correct.
How many of you thought about this one? And most of the people will come and complain like it is overhearing, it is eavesdropping. The phone is no. They may, but the real technical thing is, what's two important things we all need to understand. The whole technology platforms are built based on two things. One is called predictive analytics, and the second one is called persuasion psychology. No one of you learned about this. Every of these products, including AI, is developed based on some psychology which is called persuasion psychology. So, which is something like there are two things happening. I will have a time to start with some story called Target Store to understand the intensity of this problem. Everywhere we talk about predictive analytics, we will tell this story. There is a supermarket in US, and one family was kept on buying products. They were regular to the supermarkets. The supermarket started to give coupons to encourage the extra buying. So if you are going to the supermarket and they predict based on your various data, they will predict like this person may need this product in future, so I will give coupons so that that person will definitely come to the store and will buy it. So that's the very earlier stage of this AI and predictive analytics. So what happened was, one family used to get coupons for the shaving cream, or for when they planned for some trekking, they used to get coupons for this various cloths, sweatshirts, everything. One fine day, the father collected a coupon from the same store, which is for baby products, for the pregnancy kit. His wife was 40 years old, his wife was 50 years old, not pregnant. They have a teenage daughter. So there is no possibility, she is not married, there is no possibility of pregnancy kits, those kind of things. But they received the coupon. When they checked with manager, they went to the store, and when they checked with manager, they told, our computer model predicts in your family, they need this pregnancy kits. Pregnancy products. And it's true, their teenage daughter was pregnant. The teenage daughter was pregnant, she don't know that, parents don't know that, but the computer understood that. It correctly predicted. The predictive analysis reached with the help of the current hardware systems, the level of anyone who here learned about probability, you may know about a theory called large data rule. The more the data you get, the correct the prediction will come. So that the same thing happening. Now we got hardwares to process more data, so that we can able to psychologically profile the peoples. We got the hardwares to process the data quickly. So which are all helping. We have this predictive analytics probabilities are very old. We are using this for more than 100 years. Now we got the right equipments. So now every product, that including your social media, your apps, or your AI is coming up with this predictive analytics capability, and with the help of persuasion psychology. So if you are using ChatGPT, soon they told like they will be incorporating advertisements, which means they may soon start to persuade you. That's the darkest part. Again, I'm not threatening, I'm not creating any panic. I love the technology, I use the AI, I use Facebook, I use Instagram. So I'm not against the technology. I don't want to bring any panicness to the technology. what I'm requesting to through the panel, everyone we need to understand is, they need some sort of whip. We can't allow these technologies to profit from our data. We need policies. We need policies. We need awareness from. It's not someone's problem. It's not something like consumer come and say like it's government problem. It's the technology people's problem. No, we have problem. This predictive analytics coupling with the persuasion psychology is a problem we identified. I'm not saying we want to ban the technology. What I'm requesting to the panel and all is, we need to have control over the technology. We should have proper government policies. We should have consumer awareness, media, institutions, the end users, and the technology platform, including the government. Everyone needs to play a vital role. So that's the request to these people. So to everyone, you need to first, as a consumer, it's mandatory. We need to be aware about the technology, what's happening. When we carry phone, we see, if you buy any product, you get manuals, right? You get manuals how to use the product, what to do, what to not to do. How many of you got manuals for Facebook? How many of you got manuals for ChatGPT? How many of you ever, even if you buy a phone, they give you a manual like use this charger, don't use water, or it's a waterproof. But how many of you really getting manuals for WhatsApp? But we are all using. So we are insisting that, we are just insisting that as a user, be aware of what's happening there. And there are policy people, there are lawyers, policy people who will play the role of insisting the policies. And there will be institutions who will be kept on conducting this kind of program. So it's not one pillar, it's 4 pillars. That's the one important point I want to bring to everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah. So now we move on to the next panelist, Mr. Indrajit. Yeah. As AI plays a key role in recommendations and pricing in online shopping, how do you ensure these systems are fair, transparent, and not manipulative for consumers?
The short answer is by design, right? No, and I think thank you, ma'am, for that question. And the sort of event poster here very prominently sort of mentioned the 3 sort of pillars on which you need to build it. It needs to be transparent, it needs to be fair, and ultimately it needs to respect privacy. And I think without those 3 pillars, we are missing the first target here, which is trust, right? And without trust, the entire sort of ecosystem does not really kick off. And AI is a transformative of technology there. Yes, sure, there are risks, but there are equal number of upsides, as even sort of Professor Jagannath sort of had highlighted in his presentation. So, yes, ma'am, I think the sort of first principle here is one of being compliant to the current set of laws. And obviously now in India, in 2023, we had the Digital Data Protection Act. And with that in force, I think the industry is working very closely with the government to sort of bring it all in place. Obviously, there were the days when you would have sort of 10-page privacy agreements, that no one would really read and sort of click and pass through. But obviously now the premise is one of informed consent, right? Informed and explicit consent, and knowing exactly how your data is being used in an approachable manner that sort of helps the consumer. But equally, I think it is for every stakeholder in the ecosystem. It's contingent upon them to sort of drive that sort of user awareness in sort of explaining to them how exactly is their data being used, what does it mean to be a responsible user of these services. Coming to Amazon, ma'am, obviously we are really excited about this technology and how we can leverage this technology to really do more and better for our customers. We have 2 ways in which you can interact with it even today. When you go on to your Amazon.in application or your website, we have Rufus, which is an AI chat shopping assistant, where you can basically, in natural language, just sort of query it about, various product features, something specifically you're looking for. So for instance, you go out to buy a tent and you just ask, is it waterproof? Does it weigh less than a certain number of, kgs? And it'll sort of help you navigate that. Think of it as the sort of assistant in a store that sort of guides you through the aisles to pick the right sort of product. And obviously, there are a whole lot of other things that we can start using it for. We have already started deploying this thing called the AI review summary, right? Now, obviously, when you're looking at a product, there are multiple listings. We operate as a marketplace with thousands and millions of sellers, right, selling their products. How do you sort through that? You look for trustworthy reviews. And trustworthy reviews means that you need to understand both the positives and the negatives, but that's a lot of information for a single customer to sort of pass through and make an informed decision. So just to sort of aid that journey, we very explicitly on top now provides saying, here's an AI-generated summary of what customers are saying about it. Most number of customers say that, maybe about a phone, good battery life, excellent screen refresh rate, etc., but tends to lose battery life over repeated charge cycles, right? So these are the negative products. So, we have sort of started introducing these use cases, but equally as Amazon, our position on AI deployment continues to be one of responsible AI deployment, right? We need to sort of index on where we are deploying AI and is it likely to cause any actual exclusionary harm or not. And those are the ones where I think there needs to be, as everyone is in sort of agreement here, and this was a sentiment that was echoed very widely at the recent AI Impact Summit in Delhi, is that there need to be these guardrails. And like the industry, the civil society groups, the governments across the world need to sort of come together and converge on these and build those guardrails out going forward. So, ma'am, yes. How do we ensure? By design, ensuring that these are trusted sort of reviews. And for that part, when you do interact with Rufus and do try this out, just ask Rufus, how are you personalizing these recommendations for me? And it'll give you a very clear, succinct, easy to understand set of markers, which is obviously your personal browsing history, things you have sort of recently added to your cart, if you have wish lists that you've made, etc., and obviously general demographic data, and with a clear warning. It is a chat assistant. Do not include your PII and sensitive information. And hopefully that makes all of your experiences better while shopping on Amazon.
Okay.
So, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Do you also have some policies for your sellers when it comes to this particular aspect?
Ma'am, so we do have this thing called Seller AI Assistant, right, which is on the seller side. Mostly what we use AI for there is helping our sellers navigate compliances, policies, etc. So it's, again, it's where you have large amounts of information that are not really, you're not able to process. So have a little conversational assistant there that helps you navigate these things in a sort of very natural language, conversational manner. And these are generative AI examples. Obviously, as the technology evolves, as the industry sort of moves forward, there would be deployment of other sorts of models, as the agentic models might just sort of come through. But then, taking that leap too soon without sort of thinking it through is probably not the most advised, right? And I think while we've been dreaming about this as a society in science fiction forever, right? Have like Iron Man speaking to Jarvis, and having a genie that sort of does the thing for you. Yes, sure, it's comfortable in the realm of science fiction, but we need to take measured steps to ensure that ultimately, there is product safety there, right? There is product safety. You have those guardrails. The agent does not take some sort of a decision and get you a dangerous product that poses a risk to you, your person, and your health and your safety. So I think those are issues that need to be debated, work together on. But for now, we are using it in the best way. We are confident that it's going to make the life of our customers, which includes our sellers and our customers, better.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. So now, from the e-commerce expert from the e-commerce industry, I think we'll move on to the manufacturing side. So over to you, Mr. Dileepan. How are you using AI to improve products and customer experience? And how do you ensure these systems are transparent and trustworthy for consumers?
எல்லாருக்கும் வணக்கம். So now I'll start with a story because humans always love to tell the story, likes to learn the story. So ஒரு ஹியூமனையும் ஒரு குதிரையும் நம்ம வந்து
Can you please?
Yeah. ஸோ ஒரு ஹியூமனையும் ஒரு குதிரையும் நம்ம வந்து ரேஸ் வச்சா குதிரை தான் ஜெயிக்கும். ஏன்னா குதிரை வந்து ஃபாஸ்டர். ஆனால் ஓவர் த பீரியட் வாட் யூ ஆர் சீன் இஸ் ஒரு ஹியூமன் கிட்ட ஒரு டூல் கொடுத்தா அவன் குதிரையோட ஃபாஸ்ட்டாக ஓடுவான். ஸோ ஹியூமன் ஆல்வேஸ் இம்ப்ரூவ் இஸ் த டூல். ஸோ ஐ ஃபைண்ட் ஏஐ இஸ் த டூல் வேர் வி கேன் எஃபிஷியன்ட்லி evolve and improve it. So from Apollo Tyres, what we have done is we saw as a pre-COVID era, after COVID era. ஸோ இந்த கோவிட் வந்து நம்ம நிறைய பேருக்கு மேனுஃபேக்சரிங்கில் இருக்கிறவங்களுக்கு மெயினாக என்ன இருக்குன்னா எப்போவுமே வந்து எல்லாருமே நேர தான் பேசுவோம். பீப்புள் ஆல்வேஸ் வாண்ட்ஸ் டு டாக். பட் இந்த கோவிட் வந்தோடனே என்ன ஆகிடுச்சுன்னா இந்த விர்ச்சுவலி கனெக்ட் பண்ணாலும் நம்மளால் வேலை பண்ண முடியும் அப்படின்றத வந்து ஒரு கான்செப்டை வந்து எல்லாருக்கும் கொடுத்தது. ஸோ மேனுஃபேக்சரிங் டீமுக்கும் கொடுத்தது. ஸோ இப்போ இந்த டிஜிட்டலாக இப்போ இன்வால்வ் பண்ணும்போது த பீப்புள் ஃப்ரம் த யங் ஏஜ் 18 to up to 58 they understand that technology is a boon for them. ஸோ இப்போ இந்த கோவிட் டைமில் அதுக்கப்புறம் என்ன பண்ணாங்கன்னா they want to see the data. So I think the sir and the madam has told the data is the fuel. ஸோ முன்னாடி டேட்டாஸ் கோவிட்க்கு முன்னாடி என்னென்னா நான் ஏதாவது ஒரு டேட்டா கேட்கணுன்னா I need to follow the hierarchy. So I need to call Mr. X, Mr. Y, Mr. Z. So once Mr. Z approve பண்ணால் தான் எனக்கு வரும். ஸோ இந்த டிலேவை வந்து I think this digital data has improved us a lot thanks to AWS also. So where we are able to centrally stream the data. So நான் வந்து என்னால் வந்து ஒரு சென்னை பிளான்ட். ஸோ Apollo Tyres is having 7 plants across the world. ஸோ இப்போ நான் இங்கேருந்தே உட்காந்துட்டு என்னால் என்ஷிடேயில் என்ன நடக்குதுன்னு நான் பார்க்க முடியும், ஹங்கேரியில் என்ன நடக்குதுன்னு பார்க்க முடியும். முன்னாடி என்ன நடக்குன்னா நான் யாரையாவது கேட்கணும், அவங்க சொல்லணும். ஸோ இந்த மேனிப்புலேஷன் will always be there and depending on the person it will be given. But this kind of initiatives, whatever we are seeing, the data makes there. With the help of AWS, we are able to see. So, இப்போ இது மாதிரி டேட்டா என்கிட்ட நான் வரும்போது எனக்கு என்ன ஆகுதுன்னா ஐ எம் பாசிங் திஸ் எஃபெக்ட்ஸ் டு த கஸ்டமர்ஸ் ஆல்சோ. ஸோ ஏர்லியர் என்ன ஆகுனா மேனுஃபேக்சரிங் டீம் வந்து தெர் இஸ் அ ஸ்பெஷல் பர்சன் கால் குவாலிட்டி பர்சன். அந்த குவாலிட்டி பர்சன் மட்டும்தான் வந்து இந்த ப்ராடக்ட் நல்லா இருக்கா நல்லா இல்லையான்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. ஸோ இப்போ இது மாதிரி இந்த க்ளவுட் ரிலேட்டட் இனிஷியேட்டிவ்ஸ் வரும்போது வாட் யூ ஆர் டன் இஸ் we made the manufacturing person also became a quality person. So we enabled them, we gave the empowerment with a kind of a scanners. So when they give the scanners, what happens, right? They verify whether the product is are okay. So what happens, whatever I am trying to produce, I will ensure that I produce right at the first time. So now right at the first time பண்ணும்போது as a product owner also, so we are able to produce the product in a very good level and then we are making the right product to the customers. But whatever we do that, sometimes the customers கிட்ட போகும்போது will always have a issue, there will be defect. So இப்போ இந்த மாதிரி டெக்னாலஜிக்கு வரும்போது we always depends on the people's perseverance. For example, நான் டயரை பற்றி சொல்லும்போது I think everyone know, if there is no tire, you just imagine the car, right? So it will be sitting on the here, we can't move it. So tire plays a major role. So இப்போ இந்த டயரை பற்றி வரும்போது customers will have a different, they simply say it's a problem, the tire is burst or something. So இப்போ நாங்கள் ஏஐ வச்சு நாங்கள் என்ன மெயினாக பண்ணுறோன்னா they can himself will have our portfolio, will have our portal where they can take the photo and then give it out. So the AI what basically does it will give them the actual, it doesn't say the claim is rejected. It gives it the reason rejected because of the sidewall burst. This is because of manufacturing defect or because of this information is passing to the customer. So இப்போ இந்த AI வந்து சொல்லும்போது அதனாலே claim reject ஆகாது. So you can go to the dealer and then the dealer will review back and then it can. So what happens, we'll be keep on getting the method and train the model so that we give that information. So இது மாதிரி AI வரும்போது the biased information is reduced lot. இன்னொரு பர்சனலாக என்னோட எக்ஸாம்பிள் நான் சொல்லும்போது ஐ திங்க் லாங் பேக் ஐ திங்க் லாஸ்ட் 40 years we have seen the computers have come. ஸோ கம்ப்யூட்டர் ஃபஸ்ட்டு இந்தியாவில் வரும்போது எல்லோரும் என்ன சொன்னாங்கன்னா we'll be losing the job. But what happens now in the last 40 years we have seen that the jobs have increased. So similarly people are telling that AI will reduce the job. I don't think so. So AI will make it faster and we'll have more number of jobs and we'll have more people. And then there is also, I think I'll quote the Elon Musk as quote. He told that To remove the poverty, AI will help us because nobody has told. A lot of kings have told, a lot of but here. So he told that we'll give a universal basic income, and then everyone will have their own time. And this is, I think, I feel this AI. So this is how we use it up AI. And the last thing I'll complete with this thing. So earlier வந்து நான் எனக்கு ஒரு ஹெட்டேக் அப்படின்னு நான் போய் கூகுளில் சர்ச் பண்ணேன்னா that no where it will finally go. It will tell that no I will have so much. But now what happens, right? Since it is more customized and everything, no, the first thing it will tell is don't panic. I think that the don't panic சொல்லும்போதே half of our problem is getting solved. And then he tell that because you didn't have the water, take water something. Do this kind of exercise something. I think this is really a good boon. And I also to add also, we get, and because of AI, we get a second opinion. So earlier I want to have a second opinion, I need to travel a lot and things. So this helps us as a personally as well as a company also looking to it. So thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah. So now I think we should move on to regulation, regulation, and over to you, Mr. Anubhav. With AI shaping advertising today, how is the Advertising Standards Council of India ensuring ads remain responsible and not misleading? How do you deal with risks like deepfakes and targeted ads that may exploit consumers?
Yeah, so I heard your question as well. Firstly, thank you so much for inviting me to the panel. So, see, I'll share my perspective both as a member of the ASCII CCC and then maybe my perspective and I'll try and not bring a make my trip perspective, but I'll try and answer from a marketeer's perspective. How do we view the technology and try and self-govern as well? See, firstly, when from the vantage point, like I said, of a CCC member at ASCII, broader principle that we try and apply when any complaint sort of comes to the council is, in a nutshell, consumer protection and trying to prevent any sort of mass harm or any sort of misleading communication to the consumer, irrespective of the technology used, right? So chapter 1 of the ASCII code simply talks about truthful and honest representation through ads. And if the ad in any way is trying to intentionally mislead the consumer and trying to communicate something which is not an honest representation of what the product is, then it doesn't matter whether the ad is created using the use of technology X or technology Y, and we will uphold that complaint and ask the advertiser to withdraw or modify the ad. Right? So that's the first piece. You also mentioned the use of deep fakes and the ease at which the technology can be used to create mass harm. My response very simply is that the same technology that can create risk can also be used to monitor those risks as well, right? So there's enough capability that is available at the ASCII to identify such ads at scale at a very, very fast pace. There was a recent example of some influencers using deep fakes of a finance minister and creating some ads which could cause financial harms to the consumer as well. And the ASCII did take suo moto cognizance of that and sort of took the necessary action there as well. So for the first part, I'd want the panel and everybody in the audience to recognize is that I believe there's enough regulation and technology and processes available in the system to ensure that there is no widespread harm caused to the consumer. And if an advertiser is creating an ad with an intent to mislead, then there's enough guardrails that are available to sort of try and avoid that. Now the second piece of it, which I'd want to answer with the perspective of a marketer, is how do we then view the technology, right? And especially for brands of a certain scale, like Make My Trip, honestly, I don't think any marketer looks at AI as a replacement for truth. And I'll repeat this because that's the fundamental of how marketers look at using AI from an advertising perspective. AI is not a replacement for truth. It is to our mind simply a technology which is allowing us to do personalization at scale. It is allowing us to do it more efficiently at cheaper costs. And it is allowing us to create a far more engaging content with which we can reach the consumer and I don't want to use the word grab attention, but make sense to the consumer. There's also an example that the panel shared earlier around orchestration, right? Where you talk about a product and it almost seems like the brand is orchestrating your online sort of feed, and that ad sort of starts mushrooming and chasing you wherever you go. Honestly, I'd say that that also leads to, from an advertiser standpoint, a fair bit of algorithmic skepticism, right? Like, is this product really good? Or is it actually just, is it just frequency, or is the actual product also reliable, right? So I think these are some of the filters that marketers also apply when they create ads. The last thing that I'd also say is that the number one currency, what's the number one currency that any brand has, and okay, so brands of scale have this currency. Brands who are yet to reach that scale are actually vying for that currency. So the number one parameter, and you speak to any marketer, the number one parameter that they want their brand to be positioned on, what do the brands stand for? And it will cut across all industries, it will cut across all brands. It's just trust, right? Amazon will say, I want my consumers to see my brand as trustworthy. Make My Trip will say the same. Apollo guys will say the same, I'm sure. Any other brand in any other industry, the number one currency that they want to ensure is trust, right? Now, if I use AI as a technology to, let's say, create gimmicky content, to create any sort of content which sort of breaks that trust cycle with the consumer, I'm actually doing more harm than good. It's absolutely not in the interest of the marketer to create any advertisement which does that, right? I'll give you a simple example of how we use technology like AI to personalize and create engaging content at scale. I have a job to sell, let's say, a hotel to anybody who's traveling via flight, right? And somebody also mentioned how ads are very soon going to come up in ChatGPT as well. Now, LLMs and ChatGPT and technology like AI bots also, I think they're going through a very, very interesting phase. This started as a platform which instantly gained a lot of trust with the user simply because of the natural language in which they were responding to the consumer, right? Instead of showing blue links and instead of showing 10 different articles for you to pick from, there was almost like a psychologist sitting and try to identify what's going on in your mind. Somebody spoke about, hey, calm down. I think LLMs do that job extremely well of speaking to the consumer's mindset and responding in a manner built in instant trust, right? Because it's very, very human-like. Now imagine ads start coming in that tomorrow. What happens to that trust? Are you using that natural language to recommend a product because that's the right thing? Or are you also recommending that product simply because somebody bid for that search query? So I'd say the trifecta of the consumer, the publisher, the platform, in this case an LLM, and the advertiser. If what the advertiser is chasing is consumer trust, if what the advertiser is chasing is resonance with the consumer at scale, then I actually don't fear the technology. I don't fear mass consumer disappointment. I'd say the industry is fairly self-cognizant of the risks that get associated with misuse of the technology and how it can hurt the brand as well. And in all of this, I'm eliminating what I said earlier about brands using technology with an intent to mislead. If you're using technology with an intent to mislead, make either objective or a subjective claim, which is factually not true, then we have ASCII to protect you. We have enough consumer groups to protect you. We have enough regulations to protect the consumer. So I'd say in a nutshell that the technology is going to see a bit of trust in ecosystem and net do net positive good for the consumer.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you for that. Yeah. So now we move on to the next important area, legal safeguards. So, how adequate are current legal frameworks in addressing AI-related risks like data misuse, bias, and lack of transparency? Over to you, Mr. Karthik.
Sure. Thank you for the question, ma'am. I think I'd probably start with pointing out that the law can never be ahead of the people and the tech. If you always think about it, the legal fraternity in terms of putting regulations in place are always playing catch up. Reason being, technology is continuously evolving. We had the old Consumer Protection Act, we had the IT Act, which spoke about how you protect personal information. Now you have DPDP, which talks about putting a lot more responsibility onto the relevant bodies. In terms of how they utilize data, how they're taking consent, it's becoming a lot more responsible today. The law has also kept up quite significantly, I would say, in ensuring that there are very severe ramifications to when they get it wrong, unlike the old laws. But is it adequate in terms of where AI is going today? Perhaps not just yet. But I would say the first step that really was required to keeping up has been put in motion. We had the guidelines, which sets out the framework. We heard from each and everyone that's spoken today about different perspectives of one, there's bias, there's transparency, there's trust, which is all that's critical. But it's good to see that regulators today are speaking the same tonality. And they're setting that intent in the same direction. That there was a point, for instance, when cryptocurrency came in vogue, the blockchain came in vogue, and a lot of people that I used to speak to back then, who used to ask for the legal flavor of it. We still don't have regulation to it today. The positive aspect here is they're not functioning with that mindset that you ban if you don't understand. The first step is trying to understand, to create the education to it, ensuring that you're solving for the problems that are visible at that point. Today, even the regulator is understanding the technology as much as people are evolving with it. And from that perspective, today, you're looking at it as improving transparency. Is there a consequence to not doing that? Yes, that's there on paper today. There's an implementation time frame for DPDP. It's not going to happen overnight. Is the current consumer laws also strong enough to kind of work with someone like, say, an Anthropic or Claude, someone who is going to be providing a product or a service? They still have the obligation to ensure that they are maintaining a certain standard of the product they put out. If there's a deficiency in that regard, can a customer still go ahead and question it? Yes, of course. But the problem still lies here, ma'am, in the fact that a lot of legislations, when you look back, in hindsight today, as someone who has studied the law, we don't see sanctity to why the education angle held such relevance to it. But I will tell you a simple portion of this when Sir did the portion of the segment earlier today. He pointed out something very pertinent, which is today, if someone needed an answer, the general public, perhaps a large segment of them, today don't understand that a ChatGPT or an LLM that's easily accessible is really not a search engine that's going to throw up an answer. It's probabilistic. If every one of us asks the same question, we might get a different version of an answer back. But today, the education has not percolated to every single person to understand why AI. What do I get out of utilizing it a certain way? And some portions of where we don't have regulation today, for example, if you look at EU, they've got the AI Act, China's got their own bit. India yet does not have a binding framework in that regard. We're working in that direction, but we're taking the right steps towards it.
Thank you. So currently, I have one small question. So currently, if a consumer is misled on seeing AI-generated advertisement, who will be held responsible?
So this is a very interesting question. I think this significantly changed once we got those guidelines in terms of people starting to place disclaimers when they are starting to generate AI content. I think that looked a world different before that. I wouldn't really give you a straitjacket answer, but today, if I'm generating that AI content or AI generated content, the onus is now being placed on me to at least indicate to a viewer that this is generated utilizing AI. Now, if I don't do that and I'm misleading someone, I would assume that responsibility should sit with me. I could be a corporate, I could be an individual, but I'm the generator of that content.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So now we come to the academician, Professor Jagannathan. So from a research and academic perspective, how do you see the evolution of AI shaping consumer markets in the coming years? What key risks should we be aware of? I know you listed quite a bit of risks and pertinent ones, I would say. So, yes, sir.
I was wondering whether the question that is going to be posed by Madam can be answerable or not. If not, because usually when I ask the questions to the student, they will say out of syllabus, out of the preview, those things and all. Now here also, I don't know whether, so I'll tell something and that will be branded as an answer as two. Don't worry about it actually. Okay, the question is, from the academic research perspective, slightly I'll deviate. I won't use the consumer perspective in that actually, slightly. Whether academia and researchers are gaining beneficiary or the beneficiaries of the AI tool, I'll put it this way. But one thing I'll tell you, with AI, you can use as well as misuse. Both the things are that. Especially the peculiar thing about the education sector is, when one set of students are using it for their intellectual enhancement, other set of students will be interested in using it for the negative, as the double-edged sword actually. So I think taking the students as the consumer in this, they have to have more precaution. They have to have their mindset very clearly actually. That is, in the education sector, learning is given more importance than the marks. That we have to get it very clearly. And if you use the ChatGPT or any other AI tools and do the submission, and it is very difficult to find out by a teacher and other things, and many things are happening, and we are also struggling how to find out even the tools which are there for to detect the AI content are failing in many of the cases actually. And again, I'm telling you, if you want to make, anyway, even if you don't want, the tool is going to be there. No issues actually. The development of technology, nobody can stop it. It is up to us to make best use of it. So in the learning concept, if you want to make use of it, for example, I could not understand what the teacher teaches in the class. So I can have that AI tool as my personal companion, or I am an introvert, I can use the tool for discussion, and sometimes I'll be very shy enough to ask the doubt in the open class. So instead I can use that ChatGPT or any other tools so that I can have the conceptual clarity. One thing I'll tell you, we will say that most of the people who are holding high positions abroad or in multinational companies are Indian or Indian origin. Most of the thing they have on tag. They had the basic education here, they have a top-up education in abroad, developed countries actually. Then there is something which is available in the developed countries, it is not available in our present existing education system. So for those things, so we can identify easily where that is, and the teachers also should know it. So when we were the students, we will be delivering, our teachers will come to the class, they will tell what is in the book, they go off, that's all. And they will give a thing, and even for certain courses, there will be only one book will be there, and teacher will claim the copyright, and he won't even share the Xerox copy of it. Most of the time ended up in taking the notes, what is written on the blackboard, everything drama went off like that, and we didn't have a time to think over on the concept actually. So the application concept itself got a backseat. Now, if you have one, if you learn one concept, what are you going to do with that concept? Whether it may be a technical concept or a non-technical, whatever it is, everything will have an application in the education. That topic, that what is your education to trigger your mind to think on that particular thing. For example, in the 12th class maths course, what I'll be, my mind will be, my teachers will be interested in triggering my thinking on the mathematical objects. If you take any standard JEE question, one circle they will have it, they will top up with the ellipse, hyperbola and a tangent and the length of the tangent, perpendicular, normal. Finally, they will, what is the point at the center of the parabola. The real-time structure will not be there, but they are using this technique to make the student's mind to think. In that sense, we can use this AI tool properly to trigger your thinking. And what I believe in, based on this many years of experience in the education sector, most of us are not clear about the concept which we are studying. So lack of conceptual clarity is making us not to progress further. That is the main reason. That is எனக்கு புரியல அது ஆக்சுவலாக. புரியாமல் இருக்கும்போது நான் புரிஞ்ச மாதிரி எழுதுவேன், வாத்தியாரும் புரிஞ்ச மாதிரி மார்க் கொடுப்பாங்க, எனக்கு டிகிரி கிடைக்கும், இன்டர்வியூக்கு போவேன், அதுக்கு வேலையும் கிடைக்கும், எனக்கு கல்யாணம் ஆகும், ஐ வில் ஆல்சோ பி சிட்டிசன், ஏதோ பண்ணிட்டு முடிஞ்சிடும் கதை. பட் கடைசியில் படித்ததை என்ன பண்ணோம்? வீட்டில் ஷோகேஸில் இருக்கிற பொம்மையை கூட நம்ம அப்பக்கப்போ தொடச்சி வைப்போம் ஆக்சுவலாக. இந்த படிப்புறது டிகிரிக்காக மட்டுங்கிற மாதிரி போயிடுச்சு. இப்போ அந்த நாலேஜ் ட்ரான்ஸ்ஃபர்லேருந்து ஸ்கில் டெவலப்மெண்ட்டுக்கு போகிற அளவுக்கு தேர் இஸ் ஒன் குட் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி வி கேன் ஹாவ் இட் வித் ஏஐ டூல். அந்த ஸ்கில் டெவலப்மெண்ட்டுக்கு என்ன பண்ணணும்னா, எப்போயுமே நான் இது ஒரு வேலையை பண்ணணுங்க, எனக்கு புரிஞ்சால் தான் பண்ண முடியும். இல்லைன்னா எங்கள் அம்மா ஒரு வேலை சொன்னாங்க, புரியாமல் 2 வேலை முடிச்சுட்டு 3 வேலை முடிக்காமல் வருவேன். அதுக்கப்புறம் என் பையன் இப்படி தான் புரிஞ்சிக்கவே மாட்டேங்கிறான், அவன் எப்படி உருப்பட போகிறானோ அப்படி இப்படின்னு திட்டிகிட்டு இருப்பாங்க. அதே மாதிரி இப்போ எல்லா காரணத்துக்கும் நம்ம எஜுகேஷன் செக்டரில் எதனால நம்மளால் முன்னாடி வர முடியல, ரோட் லேர்னிங், இந்த ஸ்கில் டெவலப்மெண்ட்லாம் இப்போயுமே ப்ராடக்ட் ஓரியன்ட் கம்பெனிஸ், ஏஐ டூலில் நிறைய ப்ராடக்ட் கம்பெனிஸ், இந்தியாவில் நிறைய கம்பெனிஸ் வரல. One and there. We are interested in using the products. Okay, do it, no issues. But use it in an ethical sense, use it in the intellectual perspective. And the AI tool is a very good boon for the education sector, both for the teachers as well as the thing. But that is the another important factor is, education also should undergo an overhauling or transform itself to make the best of it without doing any compromise. But doctors, technology, doctors will not compromise on their treatment. They won't. No, this AI is telling this tablet, I'll give this tablet for this patient. They won't do it. But in the education sector, for example, I'll tell, for this I could not have any one answer so far. During COVID time, almost all the educational institute, they made the shortcut. Okay, they conduct the exam. Even now, the Gulf countries, CBSE 12th exam, 10th exam, they are going to have some other methodology. They could not conduct the exam now. They are going to have some other methodology how to publish the results. Why we are making a compromise on this? Education is very important and learning is very important. Okay, if there is a Gulf War, you conduct the exam after 3 months. But during Corona time, almost all the things, okay, instead of 3-hour exam, we'll have 1/2-hour exam. Instead of 10 chapters, we'll have 2.5 chapters. We made a compromise. Quality of education is very important. No industry will have the dareness to do that quality compromise during the Corona. They had all the things, still they made it, but only the education sector made all the compromises. But now with the AI tool, without making any compromise, we have to get adapted. If the students are cheating with the submission, drop that submission concept itself. You explore another methodology where you can test the genuine intellectual capability of the student. So we should also transform ourselves without making compromise. That is one thing. Without making compromise to get adapted. So that is one from the learner's perspective. In the research perspective also, this AI tools are carrying the expertise of millions and millions of teachers. When I have, for my PhD, if I join one professor as a guide, I will get the expertise of that one single professor. Since the whole internet is the data set for your AI tool, I am getting the expertise of millions and millions of teachers and millions of books. I can make better use of it. So you can have an exploration on that. Certain things I came to know, there are many good applications which I have not come across in any of the textbooks so far. Though I have been teaching the topic for 25 years or 30 years together, I didn't have that exploration concept because the tool was not there. most of the time our education sector ends up in teacher should deliver that knowledge. That's the thing. So in this aspects, two things I am making it from the student's perspective. Students here, I mean from the consumer perspective in the education. So consumers are both teachers and the students. Though you can use it for your intellectual enhancement that starts with the conceptual clarity, and that too our education system caters one teacher to many students. There I go and teach, I can't track all the students whether they are learning or not. Now in the conventional education system, tracking the learning is zero. I start the semester, I end the semester, I conduct the exam. I don't know what the students are doing. If they are able to answer the question which I give in their A4 sheet one fine morning for 3 hours, if they do it well, I brand them as yes, great. That's all. That ends the matter. There is no this way, that way, and other thing. Instead of that, for intellectual, that is the thing. If you train the students to that intellectual enhancement, we will get more and more and more Sundar Pichais and Nadala Satya, and we are telling Indian origin people. Now the Indian people themselves will be at the helm then actually. Not to say about Indian origin means that they have migrated, they have had the top up education there, that is the thing. This keep apart. And other side, if you want to keep mum, the teacher is going to, I don't want to, that is intellectual laziness. I am interested in the output. In education, nobody is interested in the output, everyone is interested in the process. So if I will do that, I will submit, I will get the degree. Nowadays, the degree has lost its value. Everyone is going for skill development actually. So in that perspective, it is up to the students and teachers, the stakeholders of education sector, to make the best use of AI and enhance ourselves. This is the thing actually. Hope I have answered the question. I don't know whether because as a teacher we'll deviate to all corners of the classrooms actually. We go to all corners in the way our answers also will hover around like a helicopter hovering the
That's
airport.
fine, sir. We have teachers also in the room, so that's fine. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, Dr. Geeta, would you like to add something to this about the evolution of AI shaping consumer markets in the coming years? Any points that you would like to add? Please come. For the benefit of Mr. Anubhav, Dr. Geeta Raju is a policy analyst from the Center for Responsible AI, IIT Madras.
Yeah, so from the consumer perspective, we need to come up with a lot of AI literacy and capacity building programs, right? So on that case, I think organizations should be equipping people with lot of AI risk that their product will have, and some kind of ads should be popping up somewhere as part of the government initiatives and all, right? So how do they identify and resolve risk? How do they enable AI users to be safe and not be impacted with all these harms that it can cause with, right? So something that organizations should look in making some initiatives around self-regulations and voluntary commitments on resolving and disclosing AI incidents and harms. So something, so we, as the lawyer here mentioned, it's not, we cannot wait for laws to come in. Rather, we expect people who are actually involved in developing AI systems to be more proactive in making it safe and secure for consumers.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So, since we are already beyond the scheduled time actually, so I think we will stop with this one question. I have one line, if you could, one closing question, just your response in one line. So, I would like to start with Mr. Vinod. What is the most important step needed today to protect consumers in the age of AI?
I will have very quick answer because it's lunchtime. I don't want to get curse from you all. It's
We want only one line answer.
yeah, even one word answer. It's awareness. Be aware.
Thank you.
Ma'am, I will, at the risk of echoing the same thing, it is ultimately going to be awareness. Just a quick thing from Professor's
Sir,
speech.
as an e-commerce platform, please don't say awareness. You should say from
No,
here.
no. And no, I believe it's awareness because, ma'am, a couple of years ago, I was researching on misinformation, and the country that was most secure from the risks of misinformation and disinformation was Finland. And that's because they're programmatically invested in critical thinking as a part of their curriculum, school curriculum. So I think that needs to be a cornerstone. And obviously, as Professor Dr. Geeta said, we can't wait for laws to change. But equally, I think, borrowing from Judge Easterbrook's thing, we don't need a law for horses. Your law for horses could be a law for betting gambling, for trespass, your neighbor's horse eating your lawn fields or something. So, what is AI law? AI law is ultimately something that needs to be people-centric and prevents harm. And ultimately, the consumers need to be aware, and everyone has a part to play in it.
Okay. Please. No.
I think it's a mix of awareness and I think it's self-regulation in some form. Why I say that is it's always, while it's very difficult for us to wait for laws to come in, I think you already see responsible corporates that are trying to do more to ensure safety. I think even the average consumer should. So that's just one tiny piece I wanted to add.
Thank you.
So I just wanted, the AA is not responsible. The content or the organization, they are responsible. So just want to mention this thing.
Yeah, that's true. Which is why we are saying responsible use of AI, right? Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Since Madam has told that one-line punch, keeping me in mind, I think. Anyway, so the thing is, prevention is better than cure. In that sense, as I have stressed in the morning, and Madam also just repeated the same thing, we have to train the consumers to use the AI tool in a more responsible way. Responsible use of AI. Responsible AI, technology will take care of it. This is responsible use of AI is my thing.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Anubha? Mr. Anubha?
Yeah. Just one sentence. Marketers should continue to use AI for efficiency and engagement, but continue to do self-regulation for preserving trust.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you all. I would like to thank all the panelists. Did you have a question? Please wait for a couple of minutes. Okay. No, yes, sir. The floor will be open for questions. We will have 10 minutes for questions before we break for lunch. Yeah. So, okay, fine. I think we'll take the questions and then I will conclude the session actually. So the floor is open for questions now. So Dr. Praveen, you had a...
Not here to ask a question, but just to add a point, because we have all the perspectives with respect to AI. So I'm with the medical perspective. I'm basically an oncologist, working with the cancer diagnosis and treatment for almost 12 years. I was with Apollo Hospital and many cancer hospitals. The medical part of the AI part is what I want to add in this panel. So what is very important is I have been consulting a lot of patients, but recently, during the advent of AI, a lot of patients, they directly go to the Google, they type their clinical condition and say what is the response or what is the treatment that we can expect. You'll be surprised, there's one particular case which came to me. That person had thyroid cancer, okay? And when the moment they put the report in that AI, the answer came that the person will not survive for more than 6 to 8 months. So somebody was referred, somebody referred that person to me. And I saw the report. You'll be surprised that the person had the least aggressive form of thyroid cancer. It is not the aggressive form, it is the least aggressive form. So when I told him and I said that it is a very simple treatment, post-surgery will be normal. So the person is happily living now for more than 1.5 years, 2 years. So what is important is, as a medical person, it is our responsibility in spite of AI or what, because responsible usage is what everybody has told. The same thing I want to add with the medical perspective, that responsible usage is the most important. In spite of getting whatever information you get in AI, please consult the appropriate medical personnel to get the right information. Don't jump to conclusions and don't fix this.
I got a very, very simple question. Of the advertisement nowadays coming on the use of artificial intelligence, especially on financial matters like invest 20,000 rupees and within a period. this spoils the credibility of YouTube one. And the majority of the advertisement coming emanates from the finance minister or RBI governor, with due respects, and home minister also. Why can't they immediately arrest the advertisement, finding the originator, instead of waiting for a few days, so that the people go by flight, fly by night, and take away the entire money? I think Advertisement Council of India or some other institution, I have written a separate letter to the finance ministry also. They should take serious view of this and find an end to this.
So is your question, is it a question to the panelists there?
Yeah.
So, sir, Mr. Anubhav, could you respond to this?
Yeah. The particular case that Sir mentions, there was a suo motu cognizance that ASCII did take for that particular case. Now, the question that Sir is rightly asking is the speed at which you can recognize that, that content. And even if you're taking cognizance, you're raising the matter up, I think the finance minister themselves sort of had to clarify that there's no such, endorsement of any product being done whatsoever. But at the same time, there are enough consumers that in that period of time do end up getting sort of impacted by that content that gets created. My response, again, as a CCC member, is all that I can reply, and not as an official spokesperson. And I think it's simply that technology needs to keep pace with people who are trying to misuse the technology as well. Is there enough investment being done on that technology to identify such content? Yes. But should the regulatory framework to punish such offenders at the right speed of time also needs to keep pace with that? The answer is yes. Do I have an immediate answer to, do we have that regulation in place right now? Maybe no. But is it recognized, and are we moving in a direction to ensure that it doesn't happen? I think the answer to that is also a yes.
Am I right in saying that AI is equal to electricity? Electricity should not be your boss, it should be your servant. Am I right in this proposition? AI should be your servant and not a master.
Yes.
Am I right or wrong?
Yes, sir. Everyone appears to agree to this.
That's why we call it as a AI assistant.
So this time it's a question, not a point. So I heard that a lot of this, Book My Show or all this, most of this Amazon. So the products what are being sold, a lot of reviews, because all the customers, they basically go by the reviews and take a call whether the product is good or not. So is it a myth that a lot of these reviews are like fake reviews generated by AI or something? Do you want to comment on that? I would like to throw that. Because in Book My Show also they say a lot of fake reviews about the movies, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
So,
No,
thank you so much.
So, not a myth. We are always sort of on the lookout for bad actors, right, who are trying to game the system. Ultimately, there are two ways of gaining trust. One is genuine effort and investment in creating products that really build that trust with your customer. And then there are certain actors who will tend to try and, engage in practices that are sort of buying reviews, right? So you'll send you a little coupon inside and say, please give me a 5-star review and on Amazon and get a 50 rupees discount next time around, which is not fair play, right? And we as, on our marketplace, we do have sort of systems to sort of obviously penalize that sort of conduct by any of the sellers, but equally, we do have a dedicated program to ensure that the reviews that you see on at least our platform are trustworthy, and you get to see both sides of the coin, and which is part of the reason, as I was sort of mentioning, we have the sort of AI summarization of the reviews. You get the full picture, make an informed choice, you go away being a more satisfied customer for us. So thanks.
Thank you so much. And thanks to CAG for this wonderful effort to bring us all together. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Excuse me, just to add.
Yes,
So none of these problems that we are discussing here is just pertaining to AI systems, like the fake reviews, right? Humans used to do it, but now with AI, the scale is large. And then identifying and controlling all the fake things that's going around is a bit getting difficult for us, right? So that is where we need some extra efforts to control and do all the mitigation measures here.
Yeah. And it's pertinent to mention the Department of Consumer Affairs also. They seem to be taking, very proactively taking some measures actually to control fake reviews. We have the BIS standards now, and we have the guidelines, and on guidelines on dark patterns and things like that are also, like the department is also taking sumoto efforts to actually control this. But then the volume of this is quite large. It's quite voluminous, and to address, I think, which is why they have developed guidelines, I would say. It is not regulation per se, but then guidelines for the industry to comply, and giving that leeway for the industry to self-regulate. I think that way it's good effort from the government side as well. Yeah. And anything else? Any other questions?
Yeah, I have one question.
Yes.
Perhaps Make My Trip, Amazon, and Apollo will be in a better position to answer this. But I was curious about dynamic pricing. I think that's something that's coming up a lot, at least in European countries. What is the case in India? And dynamic pricing is basically when the product's price are just based on the consumer's data.
So I will disavow that question because we operate purely as a marketplace and sellers set the prices. So we don't really have anything around that. But obviously there would be other sectors that engage in this, and there would be sort of parameters, and they could probably speak to that better.
Mr. Anubhav, would you like to respond to that question?
Yeah. What's the question around that pricing? The technology exists,
No. What is the, like...
What's the question around?
No, has it made inroads in India? I just know what's the deal with India and how it's dealing with dynamic pricing, either in terms of laws or how the company is dealing with it.
Yeah. See, has it made inroads in India? Yes, it has. I would say it's not around consumers' personal data, but it's more around, if you're a marketplace, then what's the price of that particular SKU? What's the price of that particular product? At what point in time? Are you looking for something tonight, or are you looking for a stay 2 weeks later? What's the kind of demand that's available? What's the kind of supply that's available? So is the technology being used to dynamically price SKUs basis a supply and demand equation? Yes, it is. But I don't think it's made inroads from a personal, misuse of personal data and dynamically pricing products around that.
Thank you.
Just one more question. I'm a student from DG Vaishnav College. So actually, Mr. said that it's boom, that what we search on Google and other products like that, and we are instantly changing into Instagram and the same ad coming to that. So is it like the AI is spying on us, or like what is it doing? Like it's like do you think it's secure to our personal life? Because I don't think it was bad. It's so good, actually.
I think what you're asking, I think the panelists from Make My Trip, he'll be able to sort of better explain that, ACI, etc. But I think that's a technology that's been around for a while. It's third-party cookies that's on your browser. So there are layers to this where you accept cookies. You get that thing where you accept all cookies, accept only necessary cookies, etc. So that is where it basically understands that if a third party can understand from another service what all you've been browsing and where all you need to where all you've been around the internet, and you'll probably use that as context for delivering you ads. So that's a technical thing, but yes, it's probably third party cookies as the culprits. So.
Mr. Vinod, would you like to respond to that? At the beginning, he had actually mentioned that. Would you like to?
No. I mean, if we are not giving, it's something like when there is a saying like, if you are not using a product, you are the product. So for Facebook, you are not paying. For Instagram, you are not paying, which means it's not you are paying by money, but you are paying by attention. So which means if you are using a free product, you're not using free product, but you are giving the data. So you're not spying. Actually, you are giving the data. What is the point of data theft or data spying? When you are already happy to give the data, we are sharing the photos, we are sharing the location. So it's about the safety, your data is safe. It's Instagram or Google want to make sure were to give the guarantee of your data safety. And and all of the platforms on base condition working on, say, I will be showing ads, this is my revenue. So to exactly answer your question, your data safety comes from the company who collects the data. And if you are very frustrated by the ad showing, you shouldn't use the free version. That's the mix of things.
What clearly emerges from today's conversation is that while AI has a potential to significantly enhance consumer experience, it also introduces new and complex risks, many of which are not immediately visible to us as consumers. We heard about how industries are leveraging AI to improve efficiency and personalization, but also the importance of building trust through transparency and ethical practices. We discussed how emerging challenges such as data misuse, algorithmic bias, dark patterns, and AI-driven manipulation require closer attention. Importantly, the discussion highlighted that consumer protection in the age of AI cannot rely on a single approach. It requires a combination of responsible industry practices, robust legal and regulatory frameworks, active oversight, and an informed and empowered citizenry. As we move forward, the key question is not whether AI should be used, but how it should be used, responsibly, transparently, and in a manner that puts consumers at the center. On that note, I thank all the panelists and participants for joining us today. We hope this conversation contributes meaningfully to shape a more consumer-centric approach to AI. Thank you very much, all the panelists, for joining us. Thank you, Mr. Anubhav. Thank you, Mr. Vinod. Thank you, Mr. Indrajit. Thank you, Mr. Karthik. Thank you, Mr. Dileepan. And thank you, Dr. Jagannathan, for joining us today. And small memento to the panelists. Vishnu, my senior colleague, will give away the mementos to the panelists. Amma, sir. Sir, kudutach. Mr. Anubhav, thank you very much, sir, for joining us online and sharing your views. Thank you. And I would like to thank ASCI for facilitating this, the Advertising Standards Council of India. Thank you. Oh, yeah, wait. Thank you, Vishnu.